What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Rangers Central, and today we are going to be talking more about Game 5 of the Rangers vs. Panthers series. I mean, I still have so many thoughts, honestly, right now, and I don't feel any better than last night. I really don't, and it's just annoying because there's just no way, honestly, right now, feeling better, but we'll talk through it the best that we can, obviously, here. Luke, what's going on? Can Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider show up one damn time? We'll talk more about that. Luca, what's going on? Laugh, what's going on? I don't expect many people in here during a afternoon stream on a Friday, but I mean, I had to go live here right now because this is just, yeah, I feel worse than last night too. This is just beyond annoying, honestly. Like, I don't know. Panarin, yeah, I mean, the Panarin offseason talk will come. Need to win this tomorrow. Big game. I mean, yeah, otherwise it's done. After processing last night's game, emotions aside, I really feel in my gut this core is already mentally beaten. You could see it in their body language. I want to see someone show damn heart. Agree with that, which, again, we'll talk about. When did Bread start completely whiffing so much? Playoff time when the game got tighter. What's going on, Mika Lover? Thought they played their best game last night. Tough loss. I mean, I don't think that was their best game of the series, but again, you could argue that was their most competitive loss, but they still need to be way better. And it's annoying. Like, I get it. I get it. I see the comments, and I'm not disagreeing with anybody when I say I get that the Florida Panthers are what they are. They are one of the best teams in the league. They're a team that has been there, done that type deal, and they know what it takes to get to a Stanley Cup Finals. The problem is, how am I supposed to give my team a break and give them a pass for not being good enough? Like, they're not rising to the occasion right now, and that's my biggest thing that's really infuriating, is they are capable of so much better, but the problem is they just never rise to the damn occasion, and that's where my frustration comes in the most, because this group in particular, it's just the same thing with them where nobody's rising to the occasion, and I just want to see somebody rise to the occasion. I don't know how many times I just said it there, but it's the truth. Like, that's just what I want to see. Like, somebody needs to elevate their game and really take command here and show some heart, balls, and just leave it all on the line. Like, you're seeing, I'm watching Vladimir Tarasenko lay out the body to block shots. When are we seeing that from Panarin? When are we going to see that from Zibanejad, Kreider, any of those guys? And I just can't give those guys a pass. I can't give a lot of the depth guys a pass either. There needs to be lineup changes again. I still feel the same about that. If Rempe's going to play just 2-3 minutes, then you got to sit him at this point. Like, I love Rempe, but you can't play him if he's going to play just 2-3 minutes a night, because there's just no point. There's no reason to play him that little of ice time. You got to get a body in there that's going to give you way more ice time. They need to... The problem is, though, it's like who do they bring in that's going to give them quality minutes? Johnny Brodzinski? I don't see it. Blake Wheeler? I don't see it in terms of giving quality minutes. So, I don't know. Like, there's just so many problems right now. And the problem also is it feels like there's so many holes on this roster right now for a team that's in the conference finals. And that's the thing that's the most scary, is you're going against a team that is so deep right now. And this team just... It is top heavy. Like, that's the reality of it. And the top guys aren't showing up. The power play's not showing up. And you're not going to win. And I know Florida's doing a good job of smothering them, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to step up and elevate their game. Like, there's just there's no urgency, there's no physicality at all in their play. Like, that's the thing that, again, really worries me right now. But see what else you guys are saying in the comments. I hope Laviolette takes Fox, Bread, Zibanejad, and Kreider into his office and tears him a new one. What needs to be done? There isn't any urgency. Yeah, the point I just made. I do want to say, too, that I'm not going to give Laviolette a pass at all. Again, it does fall on the core, because at the end of the day, they are on their third coach, so I 1,000% blame the core. more than Laviolette, but I don't think Laviolette has done this team any favors this series with his stubbornness of getting away from the man-on-man defensive system when it's clearly not working and guys are just walking in at will and burying it past Igor Shesterkin. I really don't think he's doing them any favors right now with that, especially considering Carolina got pantsed by the same Florida Panthers team last postseason by playing a man-on-man defensive structure. I just don't think it's doing them any favors. I don't think him playing the third line as much as he is doing them any favors. He needs to get some of the fourth line guys more involved, honestly. Like a guy like Barclay Goodrow deserves more ice time right now, and I never thought in a billion years I'd be saying that, but it's true. And yeah, I'm still pissed off. Yeah. Father in heaven, Rangers in 7. 22 gave them past expectations were low. Enjoyed the ride last year. Blame go on, but also grew skeptical of the core this year. Just proves it isn't coaching. Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, it's a bit of both. And that's, again, where you look at... again, you give credit to the Florida Panthers for being a team that's been there, done that. You give credit to them for being a deep team and a team that's good. But I can't give the Rangers a pass. And that falls... that ultimately falls on Chris Drury, and I'm not saying he's going to get fired this offseason. I just don't see it, and I don't, quite frankly, know if he should or not, but, it does fall on him in terms of roster construction-wise, not doing enough to help out this roster more, and as well as also, I mean, again, the star players, it is what it is. Gordon locked up a lot of those guys, but some of it does fall on Drury here at the end of the day. Like, there is a lack of... The third line is just embarrassing. The lack of depth in terms of the fourth line even a bit, even though I was saying to play guys like Goudreau more, there is a little bit of a lack of depth here. And obviously the big elephant in the room is the top line right wing spot that is yet to be addressed ever since Drury has traded Pavel Buchnevich. So, simple as that. Sorry, skipped a couple. Come on, these are the Rangers. Are we surprised there's a reason why only 4 cups in history, who the players are or who the coach is, it's the same thing? Well, it's the same thing because they're relying on goaltending to bail them out. I mean, that's really what it is, and that's why it's like it doesn't matter. No matter what, they're going to have Igor Shesterkin right now to bail them out unless he walks after this upcoming season. But if he does, you still have Dylan Garand that's expected to be the next great thing. So it's like, I don't know. This team has to learn to play better in front of their goaltender. And again, season's not done. They have 2 games to right the wrongs, right the ship here. But will they do it? I still don't know. I can't feel confident right now. I'm sorry. Like, I call me a fake fan, call me whatever you want. I just don't know how I could talk myself into it when they've been outplayed way too much in the series, and Florida's just the better and deeper team right now. Like, I don't know how I could talk myself into the Rangers getting this done outside of a miracle or Igor, stealing them a game or two here. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I saw the Salicata thing and was saying them winning the President's Trophy means nothing and some other crap like that if you don't want the cup. No, I think I get what you're getting at there, but yeah, like his rant was ridiculous about the cope of it being a 1-goal game last night also just doesn't make sense to me, considering one of those goals happened when the net was empty. It's like whatever, garbage time goal. But I get you can make the argument the empty netter. So sure, 1-goal game. But at the end of the day, again, the President's Trophy doesn't matter if you don't win the cup. It's that simple. And this team right now, they're just not getting enough contributions right now from guys like Panarin, guys like Zibanejad. Like, that's the other thing. Like, again, credit to Florida for having those type of players at the end of the day. But I can't excuse Zibanejad for getting just completely ate alive out there by a guy like Barkov when, like, how am I supposed to accept, all right, their team's better, but why, like, why can't this team be better? Why can't Zibanejad be better? He's just not playing good enough right now. And he's playing like he's playing a soft brand right now. Like there's no way around it right now. But let's see what else we got in the chat. Sorry, I'm a little behind. If we got beat playing our best, fine. This is not even close. That's why it's so painful. I agree with you, Dave, and that's really where my frustration comes in. It's like, yeah, you can look at it as a 1-goal game with some of these, but you know, if this team was even half capable of playing, you know, a respectable game, like they could be winning the series right now. But that's not the case, and that's not what's happening. And it is that's just what it is right now. And this is, you know, the real thing here, that they have to, there's no buy-in, it feels like right now. And I don't see them moving Zibanejad. I just don't see a world where it's realistic, to be honest with you. I do think that maybe there's a way to do it if you know, ask him to waive and you say something like, all right, well, if you don't waive, we're going to move a guy like Kreider, something like that. Like, I'm just spitballing an idea here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Obviously, again, our opinion, our mood could change if Zibanejad has 2 good games in a row here. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Zibanejad, it's going to be what it is, and he's here to stay for the next, I would say at least the next like 4 or 5 years. Maybe you get out of that deal when there's 1 or 2 years left on it with a buyout or something. I don't know. But for right now, you know, it is what it is. Like, you have him for the next 4 years minimum, it feels like. But Trouba, if this continues, especially, there's no way around it. I mean, either way, I'm done with that. Like, I feel like they have to move on from him. But again, I just don't know if it's realistic either. Like, because he's the captain at the end of the day. I don't think Rempe's a complete waste, but they're not using him at all. So he needs to either get more minutes or he needs to not play, because it's hurting the team having basically 11 forwards the entire game. Yeah, Rosovic can't play. He's literally Julian Gauthier, but he's a smaller version of Julian Gauthier. Like, that's really what it comes down to. All we have to do is hope they can pull a 94. And yeah, again, like, I would be the happiest man alive out of anyone in this world if they found a way to do it. But, you know, I just don't think it's fair to call people irrational or fake fans or whatever you want to say for reacting the way that we are right now and being pissed off, because at the end of the day, this is the reality. They're down in the series, and there's rightful reasons to be worried right now and have concerns. Like, again, if you aren't concerned right now, you're either lying to yourself or you're not as into this as you think you are. Sorry, I'm going to be the one to say it, but it's the truth. Like, if you're not at least a little worried, you could be the most optimistic fan in the world, but if you're not at least a little worried right now, then, you know, that, again, like, I'm not saying you have to be that passionate about this team, but I'm just saying. People who say it's not an effort thing are wrong. It absolutely is an effort thing. Florida has all players laying down the block shots. Rangers have like 5 guys willing to do that. Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of the fact that Florida is a deeper and better team, but it also is that because, like you mentioned, Florida has the guys willing to do the little things, and the Rangers just don't right now. And that's, again, what's the most alarming right now. And I don't know. It's just very concerning. Exactly, the talent is there. That's why it's so frustrating to see this happening. There's nobody with a savage killer instinct in that room in Florida has that mentality in their DNA, and it's showing exactly. And the thing that, again, concerns me the most is this team was in the conference finals 2 years ago. Where is the learning? Like, how did they not learn? Did nobody learn from that? And you could see the guys that are on this Rangers team that have been here, done that type deal. Like, again, I've been so critical of Barclay Goodrow all season, but I will give the guy credit where it's due. Right now, this postseason, he's been one of the better players on this team, and he's right now showing, you know, he's showing that he knows what it takes to win a cup. It sucks that it's not bleeding through the room, but he's showing that he knows what it takes right now, this time of year. Yeah, I mean, there is holes on the defense. Do I realistically see Laugh on the first line, Heedle on the second? No, but that's what I would like them to do. I think you have to change things up. This team is too much of a one-line team right now. You gotta shake something up with the forward group. And that's another thing that's alarming, the post-game interviews. But again, actions speak louder than words. At the end of the day, they better show us on the ice. They should make an adjustment where it makes it harder for Florida to get in their zone. That too. I mean, the neutral zone play has just not been good enough. Then the Rangers will win Game 6. Look at Bob's save percentage home compared to away. I don't know how Game 7 will go, but it's coming back to MSG. Fair. I mean, Florida also has had a little bit of an issue this postseason thus far with closing teams out, which does give me a little bit of hope, if any, rolling into a Game 6 here. But at the end of the day, like you said, you know, the Rangers got to win 2 games, and if it goes to a 7th game, you know, like, it's going to be hard to have faith. It's really going to be difficult, but yeah, I mean, they again, nobody's saying they can't win Game 6. Nobody's saying that the season's done, but there has to be more of a buy-in, and there has to be more of a, I'm trying to think of the right word, because like I don't know what the right word even is, but there needs to just simply be, like, guys just need to rise to the occasion. Like, they have to feel the pressure of their back against the wall right now, and they have to play with killer instinct. More killer instinct than we've ever seen them play with. And if they don't do that, I mean, we're just going to get the same result here at the end of the day. It's that simple. Not committing at all at the deadline is going to bite them, sure. Did they go all in and get Kane and Vladdy last year? Yes, however, they didn't give up any big pieces in those trades, so they had the ammo. Yeah, I mean, we could, like we talked about, if they don't win the cup, we'll look back at that deadline and, you know, question what could have been, but I don't know. It is, I mean, their deadline ads have just not been getting it done, but again, at the end of the day, a lot of it is on the core players too. I'm not going to, you know, sugarcoat that either, but that's where it's just concerning. Coaching has definitely improved this season, but the star players are still coming up short. Agree, but yeah, again, like, I am not blaming Laviolette entirely. I do believe in Laviolette, and I still trust him, because at the end of the day, he's a coach that has been around the block and has done that. So I respect what he thinks and his philosophy, but I don't know if I see it with this man-on-man defensive structure. I really don't know if I see it working out still, and it just hasn't. Yeah, I hear you guys on Rosovic. I don't doubt their ability to force a Game 7, but I do highly doubt that they can win that game. I think that's fair. Panthers are built for a cup. Rangers are not a good 5v5 team. And that's where my frustration came in the most last night. It's like, yeah, you could look at last night's loss and say that was their most competitive loss, but they still didn't do enough at 5v5, in my opinion, to really satisfy me. Like, again, the thing that really killed me, and last night, this was my thought last night. They played a good first period, and when it was tied at 0, I'm like, that's going to hurt them a lot, and I don't know how they're going to recover. Like, they played as good of a first period as they possibly could, and they still couldn't get on the score sheet. That's going to hurt them, and it ultimately did, because the second period, they looked terrible. Third period, they looked terrible. Like, outside of that first period, they generated pretty much nothing 5v5 at all. They had 3 high-danger chances at 5v5 the rest of the way, and they allowed way too many themselves. They allowed, like, what, 17 or something like that? 15, 16, 17 high-danger chances against, something like that. I mean, that's just not good enough. You have to be a way better 5v5 team, and a lot of it still has to do with the fact that their inability to break the puck out is a problem. And another place where they lost the game is when Gustafsson took that penalty and negated it from being a 5-on-3. If that ended up being a 5-on-3, Rangers potentially score there, and we're talking about a different outcome. But it's not what happened. And Gustafsson played poor in general, though, that game. So Florida built a team around a core that has a playoff mentality, and their entire room buys into that mentality with how much energy, swagger, and confidence they play with compared to us. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. And that Kachuk trade they made. And I mean, Igor is a big reason they're here. You're not wrong. Yeah, they're not going to scratch Rosovic, probably. I mean, Trocheck's performing, but yeah, like, you're not getting enough from Wenberg. I mean, Gaudreau, I think, has been fine down the middle. Zibanejad just hasn't. And that's the tale of the Rangers organization, unfortunately, is goaltending masking a lot of flaws. Honestly, I can't even say that I'm against the idea of playing Gaudreau a bit on the first line. And as insane as I would think anyone was to say that before the postseason, right now, I wouldn't hate the idea, but Jones needs to be in the lineup for sure. Jones 1,000% needs to be in next game. Like, there's just no way around it. And yeah, I haven't played a full 60. Feels like the problem is effort, not talent. I think it's a bit of both. I do think that there is a bit of an issue in roster construction here a bit. Again, if they take over these next two games, that changes our entire narrative and mood. But for right now, it does feel like there is a bit of a flaw in that regard in terms of a lot of finesse on the roster. And yeah, that's the truth. They just don't play well below the goal line. Core guys aren't winners. They're losers, mentally weak, and incapable of heart and grit. As of right now, yeah. Eichel was effective against Barkov in the finals last year. Players who are part of your core are supposed to find ways to adjust. That's what they get paid big money, and that's why they have a letter, no excuses. I agree with you 1,000% on that. That, you know, guys have to find a way. Guys absolutely have to find a way to be better. The core guys. He's Gauthier, just doesn't drive to the net, yeah. Lafreniere is the most consistent 5v5 player, and it's actually showing the numbers at even strength. They're at even strength, we're always there, and now when it matters most, he's the only guy producing. That's why he needs to be on the top power play unit right now. He's the only guy that's really giving a consistent effort for this team night in and night out. And if they pull this off, again, I'm the happiest man alive. I would do a lot of different things for this team to win. But again, we'll see. I can't say you're wrong for feeling that way. I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone how to feel. You could feel how you want to. Do I see a coaching issue here? Like I mentioned before, I think some of it is a bit of coaching, but again, at the end of the day, this is more on the core guys than the coaching at this point. Yeah, I mean, Bob's stats are another reason that if you want to have optimism in terms of his stats at home, but again, the Rangers got to find a way, and that's where I was really aggravated with the fact that they couldn't find a way to pull game 4, especially, or even last night. Yeah, this is a very good point. That's looking like it's Laffy's team right now. And yeah, this is it. Florida has a system that they play for a full 60. The only time, what's going on, Mark? I'm assuming this is Mark. The only time the Rangers were pushed to the brink was facing the Game 6 loss to Carolina. They responded and won. This is it. Henrik was at his best facing elimination. It's Igor's turn. I agree that, listen, I'm not going to blame Igor for last night, but at the end of the day, the goals that he did allow were weak. But again, I cannot blame him one bit when this team no-showed really in front of him. But, yeah, like, they could really use this guy getting his first postseason shutout. But, I mean, they didn't get pushed to the brink against Carolina, but I get what you mean in terms of they had pressure against them after having to go 6 against Carolina. I think they got to scratch. One Akako or Rosovic have to get scratched. And yeah, I mean, the chasing, not defending with their feet. The only reason the Rangers were a top defensive team is Igor. Yeah. Nothing says leadership like you're once complaining to the refs for calls instead of staying in the play, leading to a goal against, and our captain taking a league-high 11 penalties this postseason. My God, I didn't even know the he right now leads. I mean, it makes sense with how many penalties he's taken, but he's constantly chasing guys to freaking throw hits. I'm delusional to see a Game 7 force. I hope that there is one. Yeah, I'm pissed about that too. And this is sadly the truth. I mean, Panarin's not playing. He's playing like a coward. You're not wrong. That's unfortunately the truth of it right now. Panthers go in the dirty areas more than the Rangers have. Panthers have the will to do it. The Rangers don't. Yeah. Again, I can't disagree with anything you guys are saying. This is the most depressing comment section I've ever seen. I've ever seen filled with too many L takes, to be honest. We're talking about inches not going our way, but we point the finger way too hard. I disagree with this, Evan, simply because of the fact that they... Like, again, yeah, they are in one-goal games, and a lot of that is because of Igor, but that's what's even more infuriating. You're wasting such good goaltending, and if the core guys just played even half to what they're capable of, like, this could be a different series right now. And for all we know, the Rangers could be in the Stanley Cup right now, and we're sitting back watching this Dallas-Edmonton series. But at the end of the day, that's not the case. And yeah, Tkachuk wasn't a playoff performer at one point until he was, and that's what we need to see from some of these core guys is them rise to the occasion these next 2 games. And then, of course, in the Stanley Cup, if they were to get there, to flip the script. And this is the truth. It's like, that's what was annoying where, again, yeah, they had that strong start and couldn't get on the score sheet. And that's where, like, that's one of the parts where they lost the game. Like I just mentioned, I mean, you can make the case there, yeah. Like, if it wasn't for certain goaltending performances, could have been a 4 or 5 game series either way. I would like Edstrom in the lineup. I don't see it. I wouldn't even mind Othman in the lineup, but again, I just don't see it. I mean, I don't blame Laviolette for pulling Igor when he did, but because at the end of the day, that play, the play that developed for the empty net goal is really what's infuriating. Like, how are you not clogging the middle better? And then you have Zibanejad complaining to the refs versus getting on his horse on the back check. And I agree with this. Laviolette's a good coach, but this man-to-man scheme is just not it at all. I agree 1,000% with everyone saying that right now. again, like, the problem is, where am I supposed to feel until they prove otherwise? Which, again, I am hoping for it more than anyone. I'm not discrediting the fact that it could happen, that they could win these next 2 games. But, you know, right now it's just hard to feel that confidence. And I get it's their first time with their backs against the wall. Maybe it's what they need. I don't know. But until they prove it, it's hard to not feel down right now. I mean, I agree with this a bit too, that the power play not having any sort of tweaks right now is also an issue. They're what, 1 for 14 this series? Simply not good enough. I know Florida's a good penalty killing team, but at some point you got to break through yourself, and it's on you. But there is a lot of... They're too stationary on the power play. If the comparison and the team of destiny tied to 94 is real, and this was supposed to happen, the irony is that Florida reminds me of that Devils team I watched that series when I was 20. Well, if it's anything like 94, again, I am going to be the last guy to complain. But will it be? Who knows? It's actually an interesting comment here. Not Rangers related or anything, but an interesting comment that I do want to address because of the fact that brings up a conversation that's a little off the subject a bit, so why not? The possibility of Columbus trading 4th to Toronto for Marner. I don't see Marner waiving in any world to go to Columbus, but that wouldn't be a bad idea at all for either party involved. And I agree with this, that Florida just looks like they're mentally wired for this. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the guys that Othman needs to play, but it's not going to happen. And yeah, I mean, this is it. That, like, we're watching them get bullied out there. It's borderline bullying right now. Is it normal to feel that this isn't the last chance they have at a cup? I mean, I'm not saying it is, but a lot of holes have to be, like, whether they, even if they win, find a way to win the cup, there are a couple different holes on this roster that they have to find a way to address. But I mean, if they lose especially, though, there's a couple holes on this roster I could think of easily off the top of my head that need to get addressed this offseason. But again, like, we're not there with the offseason talk. I mean, I still, yeah, Steve, I feel that way. Like, even if the Rangers find a way, I still feel that whoever wins the series could probably has a good chance to win it all. Especially, like, Florida right now. Like, I really do think that and I hate to be, like, stroking them off and everything so much, but it's the truth. It's the players out of the core group at their best are very talented, but no real grind in their game. Based on what we've seen thus far, yeah. I agree. Kreider gets somewhat of a pass from me because he stepped up last round, showed some balls, and took over Game 6 against the Canes. It just sucks that, yeah, like, I just wish that, I don't know, like, I want to see that now. I want to see that in Game 6 here. Show me that in Game 6 here, and that will completely change my mood. Oh, every fan base is eating this up for breakfast. The only fans that are pissed off right now, outside of Ranger fans, are like Bruin fans who can't stand the Florida Panthers. Outside of that, you kidding me? Every other fan base is eating this up for lunch right now. We have no information on that. I see people um that say all this stuff like Gabe had to be in the deal, or you know, Carolina had the better offer, whatever it is. We have no info on that at all. There's not been one ounce of info on that. But at the end of the day, like, I don't think we'll ever know. And yeah, that's obviously the biggest hole that needs to be addressed this offseason. Let's see. How do I feel the Dallas Stars exposed the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals? I mean, I don't know if that's the matchup or not. Like, the Rangers could win this series, Edmonton could win that series. I got no clue. I mean, I'll answer more of that if that ends up being the Cup matchup, but if the Rangers lose the series, do we restart our roster, get rid of everyone? They're never gonna do that. That's just never gonna happen. They have too many guys with no move clauses. They have too many guys that are making the big bucks. What you could realistically ask for, I think, is a retool in some capacity where some guys get moved. I don't want to say my thoughts until we know what the outcome of this season, because again, they could get it done at the end of the day. Who knows? Igor could stand on his head. But for right now, you know, I'll keep my thoughts to myself, but I do have a couple of thoughts that I will bring up potentially as soon as tomorrow night. Hopefully that's not what happens, but tomorrow night, if they were to get bounced, I do have a couple of guys in my head that I think could / should get moved and what they could potentially do. Yeah, I mean, Getzel's going to get a lot for a lot of money this offseason. Kachuk isn't a free agent. Neither Kachuk brother is. Listen, I will say right now, if there were to be a world where, like, even if the Rangers win, if there's a world where a guy like Brady Kachuk becomes available, I would love for the Rangers to freaking go all in for a guy like that. Like, that's the type of guy I would love for this team to have. I would like some of these guys that you mentioned. I'm not a big Duchesne guy. I think he's going to get overpaid off of a little bit of a Linsanity run here. I do like Chandler Stevenson. I think he gets overpaid. I think Bertuzzi's good. I think Marchessault's good. But again, you know, we'll cross that bridge when, well, hopefully not when the time comes, but if the time comes. Yeah, because like you said, not over. Still hockey to be played. Their backs are against the wall for the first time with TLA playing Game 6. Agree with you. I agree. They're not going to get rid of all those guys. Maybe one of them at most. Do I think it's better to go down 1-0 instead of going up 1-0? Going 1-0 up, I noticed that we have gone up 1-0 a lot of games and lost, and some games where we're down 1-0 and came back. I don't know. I'd rather be down 1-0. Whatever gets them to win the game is what I want. Like, I really, to me, it doesn't matter. Just win the freaking game. Win the hockey game. Feel like it's about to be a repeat of 30 years ago during the 90s. 93, 94 was a Canadian team. 23, 24 Canadian team. 94, 95 was Rangers. 24, 25 Rangers, and 95, 96 was Devils, and 25, 26 Devils would be weird. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope that's the 94 outcome. Like that. I am begging for it more than anyone else on this freaking planet. I mean, I agree with this. Lafreniere is like the only guy that really has that in his bag, I think. I know Kreider did it in round 2, but I don't know. I don't see that happening again, unfortunately. Yeah. I could tell you right now. I said I would go to the watch party if they did another one, but if they were up in the series, definitely would be there. But for right now, yeah, no. When they announced the watch party, I am not showing up to that one. There's always a way. I mean, yeah, I'm not discounting the fact that there could be a way, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I've been calling for Lafreniere to be moved up too for a bit. I would throw Goudreau in the conversation. This I agree with no matter the outcome, unless Kako literally gets like a hat trick in these next. Unless he goes on a streak of getting hat tricks the rest of the postseason. Yeah, there's just no way you could justify that. How much is the cap going up? It's going up from I think 83 and a half to 87.7. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, you and I both have no desire to deal with Mets ball. Like I can tell you right now, though, if the Rangers do end up getting bounced, I am not at all even going to entertain Mets ball. That's just not happening. I just mentally won't be able to do it. I would have liked to have seen him get a longer leash when he was called up. I thought he played well in that Chicago game. After that, you did see him tail a bit, but he also got like no ice time in those games at all. But I would have liked to have seen Othman get a little bit of a longer leash. Because he got like 5-6 minutes of ice time in those games after the Chicago one. But that Chicago one, I mean, he was all over the ice. He had a couple quality chances. I don't know. I'm for them attempting. Sorry, just was responding to a text. But yeah. I don't know. I think Othman should get a chance this postseason, but again, it's just not gonna happen. Yeah, I have no desire to care about the Mets. I'm just simply not. Gabe cannot play. He's not on a contract. Gabe Perreault is not eligible to play. I'm pretty sure even if he did sign, he wouldn't be eligible to play. He could sign today and he won't. And either way, he's not NHL ready. There's no reason either way to rush the kid and go through that. I think Othman, though, at the very least, should get a crack at this point, because why not? Honestly, I agree with this about Brett Berard. I didn't see that at all. I still think it's realistic that it happens because Ottawa does need to shake things up. But yeah, it is what it is. I would at least, if I'm the Rangers though, I would at least take a look at making a phone call there. Because either way, I'd like for them to target a guy like Chychrun, but thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. And I mean, hey, the Pirates have at least a bright future, it looks like. The Mets the Mets just have nothing right now. At least the Pirates have guys like Skeens and Jones anchoring that rotation. They have pieces on the way, but the Mets really just they got freaking nothing right now. So don't be too down on your Pirates. As long as they suck this year, though, because I do have a little bit of a bet with my brother about who's going to be a worse team, the Pirates or the Cardinals. And I said the Pirates will be worse this year. And as of right now, they are, thankfully. Not by a long shot, but do I have any hope they win the series? I don't know. Return to bench at the Ottawa. That won't happen. Yeah, the White Sox are bad too, but if we're talking just Mets and Pirates. Yeah, but that's if they actually hit on those trades. It's a big what if. Jake, what's going on? How you doing? Brodzinski in for Kakko. It could happen. I mean, Wheeler's probably an option too. I don't know. Is the lineup decision strictly on the coach, or does management have an influence? I think management does have a bit of a say, but I don't know. Breaking wild news. What happened with that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Wheeler's going to make enough of a difference. I mean, it could happen. I mean, that's what sucks. A guy like Brady Tkachuk could be a fit for a team like the Devils. Yes, I would separate Kreider and Zibanejad. I think Kreider and Trocheck play well together, but one of the assistant coaches was fired. I didn't even see anything about that. As long as you guys aren't hiring Mike Yeo, that guy is not a good coach. Just trade Trouba for Nimmo. Honestly, I am with that. I'm honestly for that. Yeah, Florida is deeper. I don't get why people got mad at me when I said that. When I said that when they got Ruedel, listen, I was never against getting Chad Ruedel. I was like, all right, go get Chad Ruedel. I think that's a good idea to add some depth to your blue line. But people got mad at me because I was like, why'd they give up a fourth for a guy that's going to be the 8th defenseman? People were like, that's a terrible take. It's a true take. He's the 8th defenseman on the roster. Like, I don't know. It's a fourth at the end of the day. I'm not losing sleep over it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, you know, I was just confused why it costed a fourth to get a guy that was going to be the 8th defenseman. But you need bodies. I get it. This time of year, you do need bodies. But I was also right that he is the 8th defenseman. Yeah, they're not trading any of those guys, probably. Maybe Trouba. Florida does seem better condition, yeah. Yeah, Yo, I remember, was the head coach there. But if they bring him back, yeesh. Think they win 6 and 7 in the Stanley Cup. Okay, Blake. Root for the Yankees. Not gonna happen. I will gladly be an independent baseball fan. I will gladly just watch baseball to simply watch baseball. I enjoy it way more than being dedicated right now to the freaking Mets, but we suffer through it. They are, and I will say though, they're entering grounds where it's reasonable for fans to jump off the ship. I've always been a guy that is like, you have to be loyal to your team, this and that. But man, the Mets are really entering that territory where it's like, it's justifiable to jump ship. But it will not be me, probably, because I'm an idiot and a sucker. And yeah, it is the battle. The Rangers don't battle hard enough at all. You're not wrong. They're losing a lot of one-on-ones, board battles, all that. Who's the Ben Simmons of the Rangers now? I don't know. I don't know who you could say is the Ben Simmons. Do I think Marner or Nylander gets traded? And what do I think of the Rangers? If I'm the Rangers, I'm not even picking up the phone to get one of those guys. Maybe William Nylander if I'm the Rangers, but how are they going to fit that cap anyway? Nylander is going to stay either way. He just got that contract. Marner, I think, is realistic to get moved. Yeah, Ralph, we get it. We get it. You think Florida in 6? We get it. Why do we have Adam Edstrom catching strays right now? I'm not letting Edstrom catch strays like that. Yes, trolls, yeah. Very accustomed to it. It is what it is. McDavid's a Ranger once Panarin's contract comes off the books. One could hope. Bang my head on the table when Gus gets on the ice. That and the third line. How many big pieces are UFAs or RFAs for the Rangers? Really, there's no one significant, but they still are tight on cap. They have, for UFAs, Rosovic, good riddance. Wenberg, good riddance. Wheeler, good riddance. Gustafsson, good riddance. Ruedel, good riddance. And then for RFAs, this is obviously just the main roster because I'm not going to go through the AHL. RFAs, they have Kakko, good riddance. Lindgren, not sure what happens there. Not a big Lindgren guy in particular. And then Schneider is going to come back. Schneider's like the RFA that... Schneider's the only guy right now on an expiring deal where it's like, bring him back. Outside of that, right now... Kakko is the Ben Simmons. Yeah, Kakko does need a change of scenery. Yeah, I appreciate people like you, Steve. I don't mind opposing fans. I always said I don't mind opposing fans coming into the chat. Just like, as long as you're not an asshole, I really don't care. Could see them winning Game 6 and losing Game 7 like last year. Yay. they should let Lindgren walk. I would tend to agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I get why opposing fans do hate the Rangers at the end of the day. It just is what it is, and I get why, but I don't know. I have not been popular with the Florida fans. I can tell you that right now, because a lot of Florida fans feel that I'm not giving them enough credit when I've stroked them off pretty much all season long, honestly. Like, I've been the guy that has said that that's the team to beat in the East all season long, if it's not the Rangers or Carolina. But and yeah, I agree, Steve. I agree with you entirely. But that is going to be it for me. I am going to yeah, I like Jaws. I like Jaws a lot. I like what he says. I like his content there, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, there are some fans that in each fan base that are just, it is what it is. I could watch do you guys want me to do a watch stream for the Western Conference Finals game tonight before I wrap this up? Do you guys want me to do a live stream for that tonight? I could. I don't think I really have anything going on tonight to where I could do a watch party stream. Yes. All right. I'll do a watch stream tonight for the Stars versus Oilers game, so be on the lookout for that tonight. Thank you guys, though, so much for tuning in and watching. Leave a like on this stream if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're a Ranger fan. Turn on your notifications so you know when I am live for the game tonight. I'll probably go live probably 8:30, because knowing TNT and the national broadcast puck drop's going to be late. But yeah, I'll either way, I'll do I'll go live at some point, so turn on your notifications so you know what I do. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching this stream, and I will see you guys in the next one.